Now I have the honor to invite the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I thank you for giving me the floor. Let me begin by congratulating you on your assumption as the chair of Main Committee 3, which is tasked with considering the very important pillar of the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Sri Lanka aligns itself with the statement delivered by Indonesia on behalf of the non-aligned movement. I wish to make the following points in my national capacity. From the beginning of the nuclear age, the atom has held both the destructive power of nuclear weapons and the almost limitless potential of peaceful applications of nuclear energy. The NPT has, since its entry into force in 1970, been the main international legal framework that has sought to steer nuclear science and technology away from nuclear weapons and towards peace and development. The right of all states who are parties to the Non-Proliferation Treaty to develop, research, produce, and use nuclear energy for peaceful purposes in conformity with the relevant articles of the treaty is a fundamental pillar upon which the treaty rests. As the United Nations Secretary-General, laying out his priorities for 2022, said, "We face a fire-alarm global fire that requires the full mobilization of all countries." This includes, among others, prospects of a diminished peace and security in the world, as well as a looming climate crisis which is already upon us. In this context, the right of all states to explore the diverse portfolio of energy resources available to achieve the goals of energy security and climate protection, in line with its national requirements and in accordance with its obligations under the treaty, is a sovereign right as defined in the treaty. This includes the development for peaceful purposes of a full national nuclear fuel cycle. Respecting the right of all state parties to peaceful use of nuclear energy, we believe, is very much in keeping with the letter and spirit of the dire need for countries to realize the sustainable development goals. This task becomes even more onerous given the setbacks the world has experienced during the last 2 years, with the increasing likelihood that many countries and most people on this planet will be left behind by 2030. We also reiterate our faith in the verification and safeguards regime of the IAEA to ensure that nuclear energy is used for peaceful purposes and call upon all states to respect this framework and avoid arbitrary ad hoc measures that prevent the transfer of nuclear technology, even for purposes consistent with the treaty. The Atomic Energy Act of Sri Lanka provides the legal framework to prohibit nuclear weapons as well as to facilitate the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Chapters 8 and 9 of the Atomic Energy Act of Sri Lanka provides for implementation of the safeguards agreement signed between the IAEA and Sri Lanka and for the fulfillment of obligations under the NPT. Let me conclude by reiterating the need to respect fully the 3 pillars of the treaty, which are mutually reinforcing, which implemented with political will would strengthen our mutual security and prosperity. I thank you, Madam Chairperson.
I thank the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka for his statement.